Hey yo,
Uh,
we are back. What Who Effing Knows podcast episode 28?
seven.
27. 27. I skipped one. Aaron
The
Stecker edition.
I swear to God, I was gonna do the same person.
Hell yeah. Is there any other
That's,
popular 27? Did I
dude,
miss anybody?
I shit you not. I spent all day trying to figure out a number 27.
Oh, Malcolm Jenkins.
That's true. I
Come
was
on.
gonna my fallback plan was gonna be Alante Taylor.
There you go. I don't know why Stecker's the first one that came to mind.
He's the you know why he was the first one that came to mind. So me and my buddies were playing Call of Duty the other night, and I went down this rabbit hole of trying to name obscure running backs from every team in the NFL for like 2 hours, and
I
he came
love
to
it.
mind for the Saints. It was a fun game. We should try it one day.
I'm in. I'm cool with that. Today, we're the official podcast of Coffee Addicts Everywhere.
And Harry Potter fans everywhere.
Oh, hell yeah. You know that game? I think it just came out today on Xbox. I tried to download it the other day because you were hyping it up, and I was like, "Oh, this looks fun," and I couldn't even get it yet, so I was bummed.
Yeah, I had the deluxe edition for it because you get to be like you can do dark arts and stuff like that. So I got it on Tuesday.
Cool, very cool. There was a pre-order on Xbox, but it didn't allow me to get it early. There was like no early access that I
Mm.
saw. So for anybody that doesn't know, I know you probably already assumed, but we're talking about the Harry Potter. What is it? What's the name of the game?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. So where what like are there levels to this shit? Like explain to me like I'm five how this
What
works.
what
Because I
it
was
is?
trying to explain to my wife that it's like Grand Theft Auto but Harry Potter, and she was like, "I hate Grand Theft Auto," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's Harry Potter. It's gonna be way cooler."
You're literally just there's Hogwarts is a giant world. I mean, the world is I haven't even found the whole, everything yet. You started Hogwarts and then you can fly over to Hogsmeade and all these different things, and you're just like you come in and you're coming in as like a fifth year student, basically. It's like a super rare thing. Coming in as a fifth year student, and then you just go, you learn all the spells, you learn how to make potions, and you got to go to class every so often to keep learning new stuff, and then you just fucking run around and do some quests, and then eventually you can get the what is it? What's the spell to kill people? I forget.
I'm not gonna say it because I don't want anybody to die.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good point.
It
But
sounds
yeah,
like abracadabra, but
yeah,
it's
but eventually you get that, and then you can just run around and just fuck shit up with, with some spells.
that's
It's
fun.
fun, man. Like I don't even know how to. It's unlike any game I've ever played before. It's so fun. I got to. This is gonna sound terrible, but when I get to work at night, that's all I do is play my PlayStation. So I got to work at 5 yesterday. I logged on my PlayStation probably around 8 o'clock, and I literally played till 5 in the morning, which is why I'm so tired today because I didn't get any kind of rest.
Good lord. So we have to blame the Harry Potter game for you being out of energy today. Great.
Yes.
I have a question. So
So,
5 years. How many like this is bringing up so many random things in my head. How many levels are there? Like is Hogwarts like a normal school? Like I've watched the movies, I haven't read the books. Like
mm,
are there freshmen,
you know,
sophomore, junior, senior? Like how are you a fifth year? Did you fail? Like what's the premise here? Why are we in year 5?
he apparently you get he gets started in magic late or something like that, and he just
Mm.
gets invited to Hogwarts late, instead of you know how it happens to Harry Potter, where he comes in at the beginning. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like first grade, second grade. I don't know how this works. As a lifelong Harry Potter fan, I should know these things,
Hmm.
but
I
yeah,
assumed you're the know-all
I
here.
I don't.
Well,
uh,
I definitely want to get it. That's an exciting way to start the pod. Didn't even mean to do that. I love how
yeah,
these things just kind of happen. In real news, the trade deadline just passed. We've got some Derek Carr stuff to talk about. Um, what's more fun to you? What do you want to start with? You want to start with the Pels? You want to start with the NBA? You want to start with the Saints? Pick one. Choose your
Pel-
adventure.
the Pels seems the most, I guess, relevant at this very moment. So
Okay.
let's
I've
let's roll
also
with it.
to close it out tonight. I know we haven't talked about anything. I should have brought this up before we got in here. I've got something fun that I kind of want to throw at you. I don't know if you have something either. I know we talk about drafts and all that, but I've got something completely random that I think would be fun to close out with.
I got some Super Bowl stuff for you since it's Super Bowl week.
Okay.
Real
We'll
quick,
do
like
that.
quick stuff.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So we'll do for anybody watching, if you want to know where we're heading with this, we'll do basketball, football, Super Bowl, land yap. Let's get into it. Trade
Yeah.
deadline just passed. A lot of things happened. Kyrie being traded was not a shock, but it definitely happened fast. Came out of nowhere. Um, the Lakers revamped their whole freaking roster somehow, which is kudos to them. They turned nothing into something. I mean, they look like a legit, not contender, but like playoff team now. Um,
They're definitely right
and
up there with the Pels now, I would say.
yeah, well, we'll get into that. And then the Suns basically said, "Hold my beer," and just fucking said, "Fuck all of you." Like this is, we're still the team to beat. Trading for KD, and then we have the Pels.
Yeah.
Um, so we can jump into the Pels a little bit here. There was a lot of chatter on Twitter, people upset, people okay with it. Uh, where are you at with this Pels roster or what they did at the deadline? Let's kind of jump into that.
Um, I think you and I are kind of on the same page here. I I don't know. It's okay to be disappointed, I would say, because I feel like that there was moves you could have made, but at the same time, I'm more than okay with them not, cashing in all the young players we have for anybody that was left. Because once KD went, we kept joking about it, but there was nobody. Like there was nobody you could have made a trade for that would have taken your team for sure to the next level. Like you could have got OG, but like does he really move the needle for you that much to compete against what the other teams just did? And then I don't know, like they said that teams that we weren't willing to give up Dyson and Trey is why we didn't get players like Macau and OG, which if that's the case, I'm happy as can be because I wouldn't give up them two for either one of those guys. So I'm overall, I guess it kind of sucks to see like all these other teams get better. There's probably 4 or 5 teams now on paper that are better than you after the trade deadline. But at the same time, I keep saying this, when we were healthy, we were the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So it's not like I mean granted, super small sample size when that was the case, but I still think we have one of the best rosters in the West. I mean, it's not the best, but I think you're going to give anybody a run for their money, no matter who it is in the playoffs. So get there and we're good.
Yeah. I think we think a lot alike here. I know that we were talking before I wrote that article the other day, and you and I were pretty much aligned on exactly what we were thinking. Then I went back and forth on Twitter with a bunch of folks who were upset, and I guess rightfully so. Like you wanted to see a big splash. But to kind of echo what you said, like what move was there to make? Right. Like that's my biggest argument here. Everybody is so upset and killing the front office, killing David Griffin. We should have moved the picks when we had the chance, or we should have got, we could have got Vanderbilt or Beasley or like any of these random, not to kill, the players that the Lakers picked up, but these random bench players that are solid, but like won't crack our lineup. So like what are we doing here? What are we worried about? Like what move did we really see out there that we could have made? To your point, you look at OG. Um, you look at some of those guys like that, and it's like, well, what do you give up for him? Is OG really that much better than some of the guys you're going to trade for them? Like, why are we making that move? Are we making that move just to make that move? Um, Trey is someone in my mind that you don't want to move. You want to hold on to. He's got a high ceiling. He's only in year two. Year two? Am I off on that? Year three? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Year
Yeah,
two. Yeah,
two.
year two.
Which is
Um,
crazy considering like the leap he made from last year to this year.
right. You got guys like Dyson. Like you could give up Dyson, but Dyson looks head and shoulders ahead of anywhere he should be right now. He's
Right.
already elite on the defensive end. He's all like, I guess my argument is all these guys that people are like, oh, you should have traded him for OG or for anyone really. It's like, where do we see them next year? They're already close to the level that other guy's at, whether it's OG or whether we're talking, fuck, I keep his name. I had it in my head and it just, for whatever reason is failing
Bridges.
me. Yeah. Bridges. Um, like, yes, Bridges is phenomenal. He's an all NBA defender. Can shoot the three, like can definitely play, right?
Yeah.
Definitely somebody you would want on a championship roster, but like what are you giving up to? Are you going to give a bunch of first round picks and a guy that could be him next year?
No, you give up a
Like,
1,000 seconds because that's the trend.
right, right, exactly. I mean, that is funny. But like, it just never made sense to me to make any of those moves. And then you start looking at other people are like, well, we could have got, Vanderbilt, or we could have got any of these guys the Lakers got. And I'm like, why? Why?
Right. And like you said, not knocking the players the Lakers got. But when we say the Lakers did really good at the deadline, I don't think it's necessarily because of who they got. It's who they got for what they had to give up.
Right,
Like relative to the fact that they only had Russ at a 27 and a 2027 first round pick and managed to flip that into everything they got
right,
is awesome. The only like super like, and it's not even somebody I think you would want for the Pels necessarily, is D'Lo. Like
right.
that's the best thing they got, and I mean that's a great move. But like you're saying, they got like I'm sure like Vanderbilt could help the Pels, but he's going to be
Sure.
our
But
third
he's your
big.
fourth, third or fourth big. That's what I was
Right.
saying on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, what are we upset about? We're upset that we didn't trade for a fourth big, someone who's going to play 5, 10 minutes a game, maybe in a pinch. Like, is he that much better than Willie Hernan Gomez?
Yeah, and I think the one move we did make, I think if you watch a little bit of Josh Richardson, I watched a little bit of it of him yesterday just to kind of see because I'll be honest, I had no idea who he was. Um,
I'd
and I
heard
mean
of him,
yeah, I've heard the name, but
seen
that's
him
about
play.
it. I mean, he looks like a guy that could be more productive than Devontae. So I think that trades you gave up a lot of second round picks, whatever, I guess. Um, you clear you clear some salary for next year. I mean, I guess that's the bigger
Right.
argument here. Question here is what's going on with that. But
So,
I mean, it seems like maybe a slight upgrade from player to player. So you did something, and without
yeah,
giving up everything you have. And I think that's the way to do it right now.
there's, if I, devil's advocate, maybe, or maybe I'll just analyze that specific trade because some people are upset by it. Some people like it. I think that both sides have an argument, right? To your point, um, Richardson's an upgrade, right? He is an upgrade over Devontae. He's
Right.
cheaper. He helps you avoid the tax. He fits with the roster better. He's a better defender. He's a little bigger. You don't have to worry about being undersized as much. He's still going to knock down the three at a good clip. He can handle the ball. So, like, he's still giving you a lot of the things Devontae gave you, a
Hmm.
little bit better and playing defense. On the other side, the one thing that I worry about in seeing that trade, and maybe it's not a concern because they say they want to hold on to him and like maybe they really see him as an asset and they want him to be a part of the team. Um, to some outsiders looking in, it might look like, oh, the ownership is cheap because that's been a theme, even though Gail has done nothing but prove she's not. Um, that's been a theme. Oh, they're trying to avoid the tax, like they're cheap. It's a cheap ownership group, so maybe they're afraid the Pels aren't looking to spend. The one other thing that jumps out to me that I'm concerned with is it does in a sense take away the ability to make that big splash move in the offseason because now you're not matching salary for salary because you did shed about 6K, 7K, whatever it was, or not K, million. So positives and negatives. I walk away from it happy, to be honest. You know, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, their cap situation or anything like that going into next year about who they could sign without even making a trade. But I mean, I feel like if there's a player they want, there's always going to be a way to go get them in a trade. You know what I mean? You might have to give up somebody you didn't necessarily want to give up, but if it's a superstar player, which is really if you're at this point, you got to the trades you're going to make are going to be another six man type, or you're going to get you another star,
Right.
and I mean that's the only reason to make these moves right now. And if you can, I don't know, I'm just not upset with it like everybody else is.
I'm not either. I'm
Let it
totally okay with it.
I didn't think it
Um,
was about this year for the Pels coming into the year anyway. I always felt this year was about seeing what the roster as a whole can be when you
mhm.
add Zion to last year's roster, and then they'll figure it out. I, I think if we'd have stayed the one seed, if everybody would have been healthy and stayed the one seed, I think they'd have been a little more aggressive.
Yeah,
But
I think, and you saw there's a small group that you see discussing a little more. Some guys that I feel like kind of understand what's going on here. Um, the team's only going to go as far as Zion's going to go anyway. So until Zion's back, it really doesn't matter what moves you're making. Like,
Right.
there's no move, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier. There's no move you could have made that really raises your ceiling in any way. Maybe a
Yeah.
fraction, but like, are we a finals like caliber team right now? Maybe, but you don't know until Zion's healthy. You don't know until you see this team healthy and together. Um, and trading for anyone other than like Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard,
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, like guys that aren't even really available to you, which Kevin Durant, I don't think we even had a shot at. If anybody's wondering, I'm pretty sure he just wanted to be in Phoenix and that was where he was going from the get go.
Yeah.
Because it's been also widely reported that like Kyrie wants to be in Phoenix. Apparently everybody wants to be in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think there was a move that you could have made that would have raised your ceiling in any way. So it was really pointless, in my
Yeah. And just
opinion.
just to like put a bow on it for the Pels, it's just you still have you. My whole thing was I didn't want them to overspend. Like if you're gonna make a move, but don't overspend. If you had to overspend, then don't do it because now you're going into you're gonna let this season play out. You'll see how this. Hopefully, everybody can stay healthy for the rest of the year. You get a good taste of what the roster is, and then in the off season, you still have all your assets. Like you said, I mean, like we said, it's a little bit harder to salary match now, but overall, you still have all the assets you had
Yeah.
to make a move. You never know. Like, what if Portland? Then this is super far fetched and hypothetical, obviously. But what if Portland finally says, "All right, we'll trade Dame"? Like,
Yeah. Which,
there's not a lot of teams. There's like us, the Jazz, and Oklahoma City are the only people that have like the artillery of picks to be able to go get somebody like that. So I think you're still in a good position to make a move. And as far as like the salary, luxury tax goes, I know Gail has said in the past that she would do it if it made them a championship
right.
team. So
Absolutely.
until that moment comes about, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do it," and falls back on what she says, then I'm not questioning it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Going back to the Dame thing too. I think it's funny. I think you tweeted it. It's like what is Portland doing with his career? Like every year it's the same thing. Like they don't go get anybody to real like they did years ago in a sense. Like, they
Yeah,
had CJ already. They had LaMarcus Aldridge. They would randomly, pulling guys here and there, but like they've never made that big splash move for Dame.
yeah. It's got to
And
partially be him too. Like, if he really wanted out, he would be gone. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I like props to him because he clearly wants to win there, and I mean, great, but dude,
really they don't want to win with him there. Like
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It
Uh,
doesn't matter. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. We could put a bow on that. It was a wild deadline. It was fun. I think shoot, the NBA trade deadline is probably one of the most fun times
yeah,
in
the
all of
NFL, the NFL deadline's getting better.
it is. It is. The NFL is kind of moving the same like path as the
Yep.
NBA. Like you start to see some like
The
things that are
more, t-
similar.
yeah, the more teams are starting to feel like they don't care about their draft picks, the more we're starting to see players, like big name players, get traded like that.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun. I
The
love
Rams,
seeing that.
the Rams changed everything.
I was talking about that earlier. So we could probably just go into the NFL conversation now
Yeah.
since we're, segueing there. I was talking about that earlier. Like the cap's not real, first of all. Anybody who knows me, and we've talked about this before, knows that like I firmly believe that the cap is a game. It's not real. It's a myth. You can literally kick the can as long as you want, and the bill will never come due because as long as you keep pushing it out, you never have to pay it. It's
Yeah,
like the
it'll
US
hinder you.
government.
It'll
Like
hinder you a little bit, but
yeah,
we've seen it with the Saints. Like, there's never been a player that if the Saints want them, they can't go get because
right.
of the cap.
But so, and I guess what I'm getting into, I was talking about that. I had a friend reach out who's a Patriots fan, and he was like, "How can you guys even get Derek Carr? Like, how does it even work?" And that was my response. I said, "Well, let's start with this first of all. The cap's fake. It's not real. It's a game." And then I kind of explained more about how you can. I think we can clear like 60 million or something like that. We're about 30 mil over right now. It puts us at a perfect number to absorb his contract. I was like, hopefully we don't have to.
Hmm.
But then I made mention. I was like, the Bucks did the same thing with Brady. Like you've started to see them follow the same concept where they're just kicking the can.
Yep.
Um, the Rams are doing it. I said the only difference is the Rams also traded all their picks, which I don't know is the wisest
No. I
approach.
mean,
But
but I say this all the time for them. Like, as long as it results in one Super Bowl, it's
yeah,
worth it.
yeah,
Like, I said, it's just not to go back to NBA, but it's the same thing I say about LeBron. Like, would you take LeBron if it meant he ruins your future? Like, he ruins everything you could possibly do in the future with the draft, but you're guaranteed a championship. Like, you would take that in a heartbeat.
yeah.
If
You probably
like
would.
as a like if you're a team like the Saints where you have one Super Bowl every 40 years, you know, like you're like, yeah, I'll take that in a second, and
Yeah,
then take 5, 6 years of just mediocrity.
yeah. Go ask Cleveland fans how they feel about LeBron. I guarantee they love him. Well, he's a
Right,
hometown kid, but now he's a fucking
right.
hero.
Even Laker fans, they were shit. And he finally came there and got him a championship.
Yeah. Um, but no, so going back to the NFL thing though, let's transition into that. Um, Derek Carr met with the Saints yesterday, and the day before. They went out to dinner,
Hmm.
had a nice late dinner, actually. I think they were out until like 11 o'clock. And then the next day he was
Yep.
at the facility again for most of the day. Nothing's happened yet as of while we're recording. But give me your thoughts on that, Derek Carr in general. Let's talk through it.
I've been a proponent of getting Derek Carr. I think so I'll preface it by saying I was hoping we didn't have to trade for him because I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily want to give up anything for him. And you know, the contract thing's not necessarily that big of a deal because it seems like it's going to get reworked either way. So you would have had to pay him regardless. Like he wasn't going to get released and you were going to get him on some crazy Jameis Winston type deal.
Right.
You were going to have to pay Derek Carr. Um, so I mean that's fine. That is what it is. Um, and I think I think it was Logan I was talking to yesterday. To me, as long as they don't give up more than like a third round pick, like I'm cool with it at the war, and I would still go draft somebody if they're there.
Oh yeah,
Like if
for
Hendon
sure.
Hooker's still there, like absolutely, you go get him. But Derek Carr sets a floor,
Hmm.
and I think that's the most important thing. Like right now, I mean, he's technically a free agent, but like Andy Dalton set a floor last year, and Jameis was your high ceiling guy, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. But it's good to have somebody that sets that floor for you, and I think he's a and like I don't care about all the numbers. Like just watch the games. I think Derek Carr is a higher floor than what Andy Dalton
For sure.
gave you, and he's got a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm
I
all
agree.
for it. As long as you're not overpaying in the trade. Like if they start trading second round picks, I'm like, I don't know about all that. But
No, I think sorry, robot vacuum got stuck. I think I think three is the sweet spot. Three is the sweet spot as far as the pick goes. I was saying that the other night. I get on Xbox a lot and talk to my buddies like playing games and we talk about random shit like this. And um they mentioned the first round pick thing that people said and like the Lattimore thing. And I was like, you're out of your damn mind. I was like, I think a three is probably realistic. Um, and I think that gets it done. We'll see. But talking about his floor, talking about his ceiling, all that, you know, he's a former MVP candidate, for a small stretch, right? I mean, it's not
yeah,
like he's played at a super high level his whole career, but he's shown the ability and his floor has also been a lot higher than that of like, I don't know, someone who's turnover prone or, somebody who's clearly not a starter. Something I do find funny is while he's like super mediocre as an AFC quarterback, tell me right now he's not top three in the NFC if he comes to the Saints. Honestly.
he's already the best in the NFC South,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
by
Like
by far.
somebody the
Like
other day
he's
was
never.
like, "Is he the best? Will he be the best quarterback in the NFC or the second best quarterback?" And I took it as a joke and I laughed. And then I started in my head like going through the list and I was like, "Holy shit, he really could be."
And
You could make the argument that he's like second or third best in the NFC.
it's like it's Jalen number one, I guess now, right?
Well, and you have
And
to keep
then
Rodgers in mind, right? Depending on what happens
he's
with
got,
him.
but he might go. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He might go to the AFC, and at that point, she got Kirk Cousins.
You're right.
Like,
One of the San
who are we?
Francisco quarterbacks, or if any of them are actually for real, like I don't, who knows?
Yeah, I
Kyler Murray,
don't.
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
That's all
know,
I got.
man. Like he's a weird player because he's like I don't necessarily remember him ever being bad per se. He's just like it's like his bad years are just a average quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he's a probably a low 20s quarterback on in his worst years, if I had to guess.
Right.
But then when he is at his best, he's like what, top 15 at worst,
Yeah. Which is,
maybe better than that. I mean,
yeah.
he's
I
got
think
a
I
his dude. He can make throws we haven't seen anybody on the roster make since
oh, for sure.
Drew. Like his arm is crazy,
For sure.
and he's
It's
athletic. Like he's a good quarterback. I don't understand the hate for him.
yeah. No, I like him and I've always somewhat been a fan. He's also by all accounts a good character guy. Whether you're
Yeah.
religious or not, just having somebody like that that's um thoughtful, inclusive, things of that sort as a leader, it's always going to come across, very
Hmm.
be very well received. I mean, you got DeMario, who's a man of God, right? And you got Derek Carr if he comes in. It's just, your leaders on the team, not to be all religious and whatnot. Coming from that perspective, I think it just helps bring everyone together. They're welcoming and
Yeah.
they're great leaders. So I think it's a good move, to be honest. It's intriguing that he started his career with Dennis Allen, and now
I was
is
gonna say, did
potentially
Dennis Allen draft him?
yeah. So he was the first pick technically of Dennis, or not the first pick. He was the last first round pick of Dennis Allen's tenure.
Mhm.
Um, because Dennis Allen was fired like 4 games in that season, so they were only together for a short time. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Dennis Allen was a part of the group that did draft him.
But I think
So
that's another. I mean, that's another reason to get him. You want your head coach and your quarterback to have a relationship. Like I don't know. I'd rather him have that relationship than the one he seems to have with Jameis, where they just don't click. You
yeah,
know,
rumor has
like
it they it's not that they don't get along. It's just kind of like
yeah, if you like if we're riding with Dennis Allen this year, which we have to, and we're
you
trying,
got
you
no
gotta,
choice.
I'd do whatever. If that's the guy he wants, like let him get who he wants and go. Like that's it. You're gonna ride or die with it, and I'd rather him at least get the player he feels like he needs to succeed. And if it doesn't work, you're back to square one. Like there's no harm in this move at all.
I agree. I agree. And I think, like you said, it doesn't really hinder you in the draft. If you still want to go get a guy like Hendon Hooker, go get him. I have no problem with that. He's 25, but do you want him to sit for a long time? No. But you can still get him on the roster, see what he's like in camp. And if he's good, maybe he takes the job. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm open to
I think
everything.
we'll
I don't think it's my place now. I don't think that we as Saints fans are in a place to be picky about who our quarterback's going to be. Drew Brees is unreal, and he ain't walking through that door.
right.
Let's just say it like that.
Yep. I'm with you. Just people, just stop being so emotionally attached to this team right now. Like it's not going to be good for your health. Like just sit back. Whatever happens, happens, and just enjoy the ride for what it's going to be. It'll either be a blast or it'll be a shit show, and we'll all laugh at it, just like last year. So just sit back and let's have some fun as a fan base.
Yeah, it'll be a shit show and we'll all laugh at it. Or they'll be just good enough to where we get emotionally invested and get tricked every week. And then we'll be like, oh, they suck. And then
Right.
we'll laugh at it. And then the next week it'll be like, oh, but we're getting these 3 guys back. Maybe we got a chance. And then we lose a game we should win. This is life as a Saints fan. Um, that's all I got. I mean, we got some fun stuff, but that's all I got. What else is on your mind? You want to talk your Super
uh
Bowl stuff? Bring that up.
yeah, let's see. All right. I got I want us each to pick. I got four prop bets for us. Four
Okay.
four fun prop bets. I just want and just give me your answer right off the top of your head. All right.
All right.
You ready? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Coin toss.
Tails.
Heads or tails? Okay. I'm gonna go tails too. Gatorade color when they
Feeling
dump it
red.
on the coach. I go orange every year. Always
Okay.
orange. I don't know why. I think it's my favorite color Gatorade, I guess. So I guess that's why I go orange. Um, the first of these two companies, which one has the first commercial? Doritos or M&Ms?
Doritos.
I was gonna say Doritos too, but with everything going on with M&Ms,
Maybe
I'm going M&M's.
Maya Rudolph.
All right.
Just very first
Yeah, this
commercial of the Super
these
Bowl.
this weird
Hey
situation that's
guys.
going on right now. uh last one, opening kickoff to be a touchback. Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm going no. I'm gonna I'm gonna write these down when I or well, I'm not gonna write them down, let's be honest. They're on video. But we'll go back and see who got them right. Speaking of, congrats to you for getting the offensive player of the year right. I think it's the only thing anybody got right in that article. We did.
Hell yeah. I don't even remember who I
Yeah,
picked. I
now
don't even know who won it. I didn't watch
Justin
the show.
Jefferson.
There you go.
Justin,
Let's
there you
go.
go, buddy.
I also was very
No,
close to my dark horse San Francisco 49ers pick. I don't know if you noticed that. That was the only thing I remembered. I was like, yeah, I picked San Francisco to go all the way to the Super Bowl, and it almost happened.
yeah. Well, we all got it wrong with Jameis as comeback player of the year.
It
I
didn't
think
work.
we all I don't know who I said for rookie of the year. I
I
had
think I,
Aiden Hutchinson
I think I said
as defensive.
Olave. I did say Aiden
You
Hutchinson
were
for
close.
defensive. Yeah, the
Yeah.
argument could be
Anyway,
made.
what else? What else you got? You said you had something.
Yeah, I got something fun. It's something that I randomly thought of. Okay, here's what I want to do. We could do this. I'll give you the choice before we jump in, but I'm going to tell you the premise.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out some mascots of popular brands or sports teams, whichever you prefer. You're going to tell me whether or
Okay.
not you can take them in a fight.
Take them in a fight. All right. Oh, what was the name of our segment we did?
I don't remember.
I can't remember me either. But that was fun. All right, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to do.
So
We're not going to
so
do
wait,
sports teams yet. We'll do popular
I'm not
brands.
this is kind of a stupid question, but if you say bears, are we talking about the mascot or like an actual bear?
That's fair. That's
Like
a
the
fair
guy in the
question.
suit? Because I think I could whoop his ass.
I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to your interpretation. But I'm not going to go with sports teams. I'm going to go just with popular
Okay.
brands at the moment, and then we maybe
All
we'll
right.
throw a sports team in. We'll see. Um,
Okay. All right.
the Keebler Elves.
Those are some. There's a lot of them. I don't think I can
There's
take
a
them. I
lot of
think
them.
that I'm outnumbered there. And
They're
they're aren't
tiny.
they're magic, right? Like, what can I do with that?
Yeah, but they're like magic with like chocolate and fudge and stuff, right? Like could
That's
be
more than I got.
could be kind of wild. I don't know. So no, you can't take
Listen,
them in a fight.
I, I also would want to. I feel like I'm kicking a child. But yeah, no, I don't think I can take the Keebler Elves. I think I'm outnumbered there. I feel like they could just multiply like bunnies.
Okay, fair enough. Let's do a few. I have a whole list, but I'm not going to do them all.
All
The
right,
the Kool Aid Man,
absolutely not. Are you kidding me? That dude
just
is
too big,
huge.
too girthy.
Dude, he just gonna. I mean, well, I feel like he's got one move, and it's just charging at you like he's like you're a brick wall. So maybe if I could just stick my leg out, and you know what? I can get
Just
the Kool Aid Man because I'm gonna
yeah,
trip him, and he's gonna fall, and he's gonna. Does he die if he spills all the Kool Aid? Like what happens there?
I think yeah, like
How do you
that's
defeat the
his
Kool Aid Man?
that's his I have to think that's like his lifeline, right? Like that's his blood. Like if he
Yeah,
falls and his glass shatters and the Kool-Aid's everywhere, like it's like Humpty Dumpty. Like you're not putting him back together again. It's not happening. It's
yeah.
not happening.
I'm taking the Kool Aid. My odds against the Kool Aid Man.
All right. Flow from Progressive.
All right, you put me in a bad spot here. We're gonna let her win.
Can't hit a woman. I respect
No,
that.
I can't.
I
No,
respect
I'm not gonna. I will not partake, even in your hypothetical world.
that. Two more. Two more. Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick. I'm gonna shove a drumstick down his throat.
I feel
It's
like
gonna be a.
for whatever reason, when I think of like brawling with Colonel Sanders, I think of two things. Either A, I think of the Water Boy, and the you've seen the Water Boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the teacher and like him tackling the teacher. That's the first thing I think of. The second thing is if it's actual Colonel Sanders, I don't know why, but like looking at him with his stupid little mustache, I um I imagine he's gonna like smack you with a glove and challenge you to a duel. Like I don't think it's gonna be like a fight. It's gonna be a shootout.
I
Take it
imagine
for what it's
like
worth.
actual Colonel Sanders being like what's his name in Django?
Mm,
Who, who's the I can't remember who the actor is.
yeah.
I mean I know who it is, but I'm drawing a blank on the name. But that is Colonel Sanders to me.
That's fair enough.
I'm winning. I don't care. There's no this old man is not beating me in a fight.
I've got a long list here, and I'm trying to think of what I close with. I think I know your answer, but I think this would be funny. The Gerber baby.
This is the same. It's the same thing as flow. Like, what are we doing here?
What if
I'm
they're
not. I'm not.
what if this Gerber baby's really coming at you with like a knife? Like, what are you gonna do?
Lion King him and just hold him there, I guess, until he falls asleep or something. I don't know. Put on
You're gonna you're gonna
some
shake him?
put on a white noise thing and, and hope he falls asleep. The sound of rain. I don't know. Same thing I
Okay.
do for my kid because he attacks me sometimes too.
You just hold him. You just stay
Yeah,
out here
just
for a second. Hold on. Calm down.
yeah, hold him by the leg upside down. Eventually, he'll fall asleep.
All the blood
I don't
rushes to
know,
his
man.
head. Terrible.
Yeah, I don't
CPS, if
know,
you're
man.
listening, don't.
What would you throw baby food at him?
He's not a dog.
Well,
Jesus.
listen. I don't know, man.
All right.
Uh, all right. I got
That's it.
one more question for you since one more question since you're doing these little rapid fire things. Binging a show or week to week? What do you prefer?
Oh, I think I prefer binging it, but I do understand how horrible that is for my health. Like, I'm going binging every time because I'm obsessed. And if I like a show, I want to see the next episode one after the other. Here's the problem: I will watch every episode of that show. I will just sit
Yeah,
there for 20 hours if I have to and watch every single episode.
I I think I lean the other way. There's something to like there's something to like a cliffhanger. There's something to
Yeah.
that you just like holding on and the whole like appointment television is it's like a thing of the past, really. There's not a whole lot of shows like that anymore where it's week to week, you're just waiting on them. And there's something to like a massive show like Game of Thrones, for example, where the episode happens and then you spend a week talking to everybody that watches it, and you're like, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen in the next? It's a cool feeling. So I think I go that way.
I could see that. I remember when I worked at an old job I worked at, I wasn't big into Game of Thrones yet. And what made me get into Game of Thrones is people came in every day. It was the last season. People came in, knock my mic over. People came in every day talking about what was going on. And then they would talk about old, old parts of the series and like random little things. And they would, who do you think's gonna do this? What do you think's gonna happen here? And it was so exciting. So I started watching Game of Thrones. And then I heard how it ended. And then I stopped watching Game of Thrones. Um, but yeah, I
I'm
get
on
it. Like,
I'm the rare person that didn't have a problem with the ending. But go ahead.
that's fair. Um, yeah, no, so I get it. I think that there's definitely something to be said for that. My wife and I were watching something every week. I can't remember what it was, and it was kind of the same thing. It was like, oh yeah, but then I'm like, oh, I wish I
Yellowstone,
could
wasn't it?
watch the next one. No, we're not even caught up on
Uh,
that. She's never seen it.
uh, uh,
I was fully caught up
I've
until
never
the new
seen
season came out, but
the
now
the
I'm
thing
trying to
that
catch up with her.
what made me think of this was I was binging the Harry Potter movies, but at the
Yeah,
same
I had fun
time,
with that.
everybody's watched. It was fun, man. I want to do more of it. There's a whole bunch of like famous movies that I've never seen that I think would be fun for me to go back and do. But
I just
I was binging those, and then everybody the show that made me think of it is The Last of Us. I feel like I'm missing out on something right now. Everybody's going crazy about that every
yeah.
weekend on Twitter, and I kind of want to catch up and be a part of that.
I was gonna say you could easily catch up. It's only got one season, huh? It's on
Mhm.
HBO.
It's only got like
Um,
3 episodes.
yeah, you could catch up on that easy. Um, yeah. No. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, watching you tweet about Harry Potter, I was loving it because I was like, because like knowing what's coming. I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan. Like I like Harry Potter, it's fun. Um, but like I remember other people's reactions to certain things that happened and watching your like rapid fire thoughts. I was like, oh, I can't wait until this happens just to see what he tweets because I know he's gonna tweet about it. Um,
Yeah,
it was fun.
it was obviously there was some comedic purposes for some of it, but it was
Right.
fun. I had a blast doing it. There were parts I was genuinely shocked at, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a fun ride. It was a
When I
cool
tell
movie.
you my wife sobbed when Dobby died, Like that was her thing. It was
That
rough.
was that was
Rough time
spoiled
in the
for me.
household.
I don't know if you saw it.
Oh,
Like
so you
that's
knew it was coming,
well, I was there was one part I just tweeted Dobby because he came back after like he hadn't been in a couple of movies or whatever,
right?
and and one of my buddies replied to me and said, "Oh, that's such a sad scene." I was like, "Oh," it's
Oh,
like
what's gonna
it's like you
happen?
just spoiled it for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
tough. Yeah, it was a good series. My wife did the same thing a couple years ago before we were going to Universal because we were going to go to Harry Potter World while we were there, and she had never seen Harry Potter. This was probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we sat down and we watched every single movie in like a week and a half's time, and
that was
it was a whirlwind.
that was that's the coolest thing about it. Like, because we've been to Universal too, and like Harry Potter World was cool, but I didn't really have an appreciation for it. Now, like as I was watching, I was like, all right, this is what that is. This is what that is, and it made me appreciate it a little more. So that was fun.
Yeah, it makes Harry Potter World really cool, to be honest. Like just them being able to take that movie and just adapt it to a theme park is
Yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But theme parks, love them, hate them.
I'm gonna I'm gonna title this episode after the name of a spell. I just don't know which one yet.
Perfect.
It's all the amount of Harry Potter talk we've had in this episode is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like there's a
Oh God,
trade
my
deadline
screen.
Leviosa joke in there somewhere, but I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I got nothing else for you.
That's it. We've been going for like 45 minutes too. This is a good episode.
Who
So we can
who
we can
wins?
call it the Super Bowl.
Who wins Sunday? Yeah.
Um, I'm going with the Eagles.
I- This is one of the harder games to pick.
It is
I, th-
Andy Reid Bowl,
I think I'm going.
by the way.
I
Congrats to
think I'm
Andy
going
Reid.
Eagles to the Kelsey Bowl. More importantly,
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of that.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm going Eagles too. I don't know why. It feels like it's their year. I'm
It
going
does.
Eagles.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. It definitely feels like their year. Casey's always there. I don't know. It just feels like it's their year. Um, I don't have anything else though. We did put some
Nope.
articles out. If anybody wants to read, if you're feeling
We did
reedy, if you want to be a nerd, uh,
get
what's
some
yours
more
about?
patty. The fact that we're in the great something we've talked about in the past a little bit, being in the
Oh yeah,
greatest era of sports ever.
right. We are. Yeah, go
Yep.
read it. I actually still need to read that. I saw it came out last night, I think. Need to go pull
Yeah, I
that up.
tweeted it out kind of late. I'm gonna tweet it again today since I tweeted out a little late yesterday.
Yeah, it's fine.
But
Yeah, I need to read that. I put out something that we already kind of exhausted the conversation here, but if you want to read more of my thoughts, just trade deadline fallout, kind of where I'm at, things like that. Specifically to the Pels. Like I talked other stuff, but it's basically a Pels article. That's all I have. But Dave and I've been talking, trying to make it a point more just whenever I have a thought, just go throw something on paper or on the blog, I guess you would call it, and just get it out there for you guys. So more content to
I
come.
think I think my wife's home. I didn't even know she was coming home.
I know I heard a door open when we first started
Me
talking
too.
about,
The dogs are going crazy right
and I
now.
was like, what the hell? So I definitely need to go see what's going on out there, make sure my daughter's alive. Uh,
Yeah, let's wrap it
but
up.
yeah, that's all we got. Follow us at V Patty V on Twitter, at who effing knows everywhere, at be in the know.
At, at the Dave Rainey.
Yeah. We need to do a better job too. My dad asked me, like, what's up with your podcast? I never see it anymore. I was like, we do it every week. He's like, yeah, but it's not on Instagram. I'm like, ah. So we need
Yeah,
to,
that's
whether
on
it's
me.
me, I need to push a little bit too. We need to get stuff out there for you guys if you follow us other places. But we still exist. So find us everywhere.
Yep.
That's all I got. Until next time,
That's all I got.
who effing knows?
Later.
Peace.